went up the stairs, went up the elevator, and I sat down next to the window. And I remember it was a chair and a table and another chair. And I remember in that moment, as I was sitting there, and I started crying, started weeping, and then I started talking to God, and I said, God, I said, my husband has been through so much. I said, why is he going through this again? Why are we here again, God? You know, why? Why are we here? And I remember thinking to myself that I was alone. But I wasn't alone. I was not alone. And I remember, you know, Mom and Dad couldn't come up there right then because they had our children. And, you know, I was there, and I was there by myself, and I was dealing through all of that. But I felt like God had me there alone for a reason, because I needed to talk to him. I needed to put my husband to him. I needed to give my husband to him. And, you know, I was sitting there, and the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, he's sitting right next to you. He's sitting right next to you in this other seat. You're not alone. And I remember walking through that, and then it was, you know, fast forward 2.5 hours later before I finally got to see him, and then walking in that room and seeing, you know, your husband intubated and on, you know, on a ventilator. And then I remember my best friend, one of my best friends, she showed up that day. Her and her husband, they came in and they showed up and they were there. And then Cody's mom come later on, and they stayed for a good while. And I remember texting with Sandy, and I remember her sending me things to pray over